You could continue to see the other, fantasy sites partner up with, say, a betting provider now that this has become legalized.
Interesting area where I would hope to see this start to pop up is in esports, where the gambling market is a little less established and someone might try out some new stuff.
This was interesting. MGM has now struck a deal with Yahoo, and Yahoo has pretty popular fantasy apps, right, for fantasy football, and I guess fantasy basketball is the thing.
And baseball.
Yeah. I mean, the kind of fantasy football in and of itself is so much work. I don't understand how you could also manage fantasy basketball.
There's also hockey that I know Yahoo does.
It's so many games.
All the major sports, Yahoo has a big fantasy sports presence, and they have for a long time.
So we've covered that sports betting has essentially been legalized because I guess a game of skill.
Well, fantasy sports betting.
Fantasy sports betting, yes, it's a skill game, and which is hilarious. But anyway, so now they have this tie-up, Yahoo and MGM. I think that's a pretty good move on Yahoo's part and MGM's part. It's still linear though, and we've spoken in the past that you could continue to see, say, I don't know if ESPN would do this because it's a Disney property and they probably don't condone betting, but you could continue to see the other, fantasy sites partner up with, say, a betting provider now that this has become legalized. But the winner take all dynamic in betting is the peer-to-peer dynamic, which is still newer. It's still much more nascent, but the economics are just there. The value is there from a product selection and an economic standpoint down to the individual bettees. So it'll be interesting who capitalizes on that first.
Interesting area where I would hope to see this start to pop up is in esports, where the gambling market is a little less established and someone might try out some new stuff. There's a bunch of startups trying to tackle this. I know for sure, but it would be interesting to see some of these bigger companies move into esports with more of this kind of peer-to-peer model for gambling, as I think that's an area that you could have some innovation happening because it's a little less established than the big betting houses that you have for traditional sports.
Oh, yeah, that's
something to watch.
That would be interesting. Yeah. Who would you put your money on? Ninja? Or who's the guy who just moved to Shroud? Yeah. Be interesting. New Call of Duty is out, by the way. Hi, this is Alex from Winner Take All. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us questions, and definitely make sure to join us on our next live stream.